Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Here.
Trustee Katsinas.
Here.
Trustee Milani.
Here.
Trustee Campos.
Here.
Trustee Reardon.
Here.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Here.
Mayor Pico.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is approval of the February 3rd, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meeting of February 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Next, any non-scheduled citizens and visitors for agenda-specific public comment? If anyone here who'd like to talk? Okay, next on the agenda, accounts payable February 4th, 2025 through February 17th, 2025, approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the accounts payable February 4, 2025 through February 17, 2025 in the amount of $4,757,764.25. Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Consent agenda.
Item A, payroll for January 31, 2025 approval. Item B, parking garage control joint caulking. Item C, sportsplex masonry ceiling. Item D, 2025 playground renovations purchase and installation. Item E, Village Hall uninterruptible power supply UPS system project. Item F, Civic Center generator connection project. Item G, approval of the Board of Trustees closed session minutes. Item H, ITB number 35-010 Centennial Soccer Field 1 renovation bid rejection.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Milani.
move to approve items A through H of the consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Network switches for police training facility.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Campos.
I move to approve the waiver of the competitive bid process in lieu of participation in the Interlocal Purchasing System, TIPS, purchasing cooperative pursuant to contract number 230105 for consulting and other related services, and authorize the approval and execution of a vendor contract with MindSight for the purchase of 2 Cisco Catalyst C9300 switches and 1 year of service for Cisco SmartNet maintenance support to support the police dispatch training facility based on MindSight's proposal dated February 6, 2025, for a not-to-exceed contract price of $27,188.19, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review, and allow the village manager to approve change orders related to the contract.
Second.
Second.
And Tad, I understand you actually did check the bids out on this, so how did that compare?
So we purchased the same switches in the summer for the police 911 system and rec admin, and we added a couple of pieces. It was the same switches, but we added some SFPs to this, and the going through the tips, even with the additional hardware, was cheaper than what we got with our competitive bid when we did it earlier in
Great.
the summer.
Awesome, thanks. Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Text amendment, allow lattice towers for government uses.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Radiszewski.
regarding case number 2025-0111, also known as text amendment to wireless communication facilities, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the Land Development Code of the Village of Orland Park as amended.
Second.
And if I understand correctly, this just allows Lattice towers just for our government communication towers, which specifically really we need it for the police towers, correct?
Correct. Government uses, yes.
Okay. Call the roll.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
GW Properties, 7520 159th Street, Harbor Freight Subdivision.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
regarding case number 2024/0884, also known as GW Properties, Harbor Freight Subdivision, I move to approve the Planning Commission's recommended action as presented for this case.
Second.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Steve?
And I'd like to add on, and authorize staff,
Trustee Katsinas, can you amend the motion?
like to amend the motion to include authorize staff to execute and record the plat.
Second.
Call the roll on the amendment.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. Do you have a little presentation on this, or no?
It's just a
So I see that they're creating an outlot in front. Is the outlot big enough to, because I can't tell from the picture.
I mean, there are uses that will fit on that. They didn't present a plan with it, and this is similar to another case that we have where they're going to be just subdividing the lot off. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I just want to make sure it's,
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Sized
few
correctly.
rows of parking that already exist there, so it should be good enough to put a building on there. But when it's time to build something, we'll have to go through the normal process. This is also going to be dedicating some right-of-way that's lacking in this area.
Okay.
So we'll get that straightened out on 159th Street.
and it's zone biz, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll.
We already called the roll.
No, call the roll on the motion.
As amended.
Call the roll on the original motion as amended.
Okay. Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Special use permit for a fitness center, Planet Fitness.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
regarding case number 2024-0959, also known as a special use permit for a fitness center for Planet Fitness, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Granting a Special Use for a Fitness Center, 103A Orland Park Place.
Second.
Any questions or comments? I think it's a good use for the space. Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Humphrey Drive Wetlands Zoning Map Amendment, 9301 143rd Street.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
regarding case number 2025-0033, also known as Humphrey Drive Wetlands Zoning Map Amendment, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Rezoning Certain Real Estate from E1 Estate Residential to OS Open Space, 9301 143rd Street. Second.
So this is just to clean up the other stuff that we have. Obviously, it's a
We
it's a
recently-
wetland, and we need to make it open space.
Yes, we recently annexed it and went into E1, so now we're giving it its proper zoning.
Okay, great. Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. As an aside, it blows me away that they acquired all this open space and didn't annex the stinking properties. I mean, hello? So, but not to mention get the right zoning on it, but, I mean, that to me seems like, if you're going to acquire a property for the Village of Orland Park, the first thing you would do is make it part of the Village of Orland Park. Okay, next.
17151 Wolf Road zoning map amendment.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon?
regarding case number 2025, is it the same number, 0033?
You mean,
It's the same number as the last one I just read.
The last one is labeled at the top 3-2,
Yeah,
it's
I read
3-2.
3-3 though, when I read it
labeled 3-3 in the,
in the actual motion.
That's
Do we
okay,
need to
right?
go back? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, let's go back to the old one. Let's entertain a motion to recall the vote. On item number 2025-0032, Humphrey Drive Wetland Zoning Map Amendment.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
regarding case number 2025-0032, also known as Humphrey Drive Wetland Zoning Map, I move to approve the Plan Commission.
We have to recall the vote first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'll entertain a motion to recall the vote.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Now, we're going to re-vote, so now you can amend the motion.
okay, so first I got to read the roll for what you
No.
just did? No.
That opens it up now.
Regarding case number 2025-0032, also known as Humphrey Drive Wetland Zoning Map, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Rezoning Certain Real Estate from E1 Estate Residential to OS Open Space 9301 143rd Street.
Second.
Call the roll on the amendment.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. Now, call the revote on the amended motion.
I so move to recall the vote. No, we haven't done that one yet. We haven't done this.
We haven't done it yet.
We haven't done 033 yet.
Well, we're doing 0032 right now. We're still on 0032. Right, we just amended the motion and we approved the amendment. Now we have to re-vote on that, on the original motion with the amendment. I know it's complicated, but you're making me dust off my Robert's rules today. But good catch.
Okay. So,
He motioned it.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. Now we're on this one,
Okay.
17151. Good catch, Trustee Reardon.
17151 Wolf Road zoning map amendment.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
regarding case number 2025-0033, also known as 17151 Wolf Road Zoning Map Amendment, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Rezoning Certain Real Estate from E1 Estate Residential to OS Open Space 17151 Wolf Road.
Second.
Could you give us a brief summary on this? Just brief.
Yeah, Ted, can you just pull the map up real quick? So this is, again, another property that we had purchased, had not annexed. When we annexed it, it went to E1. This one is wholly within the floodway. Go to the one with the stripes on it. One more. Oop, there. So that striped area is all in the floodway, so we're not going to do anything else with that other than open space. So we will zone that one open space.
We couldn't have acquired like 200 yards from further east as well? I'm kidding.
No, there we go. So that's the case before you, just to rezone that, the one that we just annexed
We're just cleaning it up
of
again.
our own property.
All right, call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Massage business establishments, creation of accessory massage establishment license.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve an ordinance amending Section 7-14-2 of the Village Code related to the creation of an accessory class of massage business establishment license.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
was this due to the comments that we got a few weeks ago?
Yeah, it was related. It was related.
It's related to that, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's related to this and a couple of other places that we're basically just trying to clean up the code to do what we intend and what the board's goals were. That's what this is for. Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Olive Bakery, 15828 Wolf Road, special use permit development petition.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
regarding case number 2025-0012, also known as special use permit for a restaurant Olive Bakery, I move to approve the Plan Commission recommended action for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Granting a Special Use for a Restaurant Within 300 Feet of a Residential Property, Olive Bakery, -15828 and 15832 Wolf Road.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye. This is going where jalapenos was or thereabouts?
Yes, I think. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Terrific.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Forget that.
143rd Street and John Humphrey Drive intersection and bridge improvements. Phase 3 construction engineering observation services contract award recommendation.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Patrick Engineering, Inc., doing business as RINA, for Phase 3 construction engineering observation services for the 143rd Street and John Humphrey Drive intersection and bridge improvements for a not-to-exceed amount of $849,927, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts, subject to a village attorney review.
Second.
Any comments? Talked about this at the cow, so call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Recreation and Parks refund policy amendment.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve amending the Recreation and Parks refund policy number 4 as listed above, eliminating the $5 fee charged to individuals that withdraw from a recreation program when documentation from a medical provider is provided, and to assess one $5 fee for a single transaction that includes multiple withdrawals.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Rech Entertainment Company LLC Professional Artist Services.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Radiszewski.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of a sole source professional service agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Rech Entertainment to provide artist talent buying contract and writer negotiation for the Centennial Park West Concert Series and the Taste of Orland Park at a cost of 10% of the artist performance fee, not to exceed $53,500 for artists secured by Rech Entertainment as detailed in the Rech Entertainment proposal dated February 11th, 2025, and to authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Ray, you want to kind of explain it a little bit?
Sure. So Rec Entertainment is a industry is a business that has a lot of contacts in the industry. So to work with different artists and their agents, you have to have that relationship. And Rec Entertainment has that relationship for years and years of booking different bands. They run different operations up in the Wisconsin area, and they've worked with us in the last few years securing the artists that we work with. So they have the relationships, they have the experience to negotiate writers and contracts, all the hospitality, travel, all those kinds of things. So we're working with them to help us secure those bands for the summer series.
Okay. Call the roll.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
School Districts 135 and 230 settlement offer.
So this is a discussion item, and normally because it's a legal matter, we can, if we so choose, discuss this in executive session. But we felt, given the nature of this and that it's been discussed publicly before, that the residents deserve this to be discussed in public. It's not being discussed in public at all, none of it, even when they make, even stuff that maybe should be. So we're going to discuss it in public so that the public knows what's going on. So Jim, I guess if you want to just turn it over to you and give us a history of this, which I think I'm pretty familiar with. I think most of the board is, but also it's as much for the residents, and then also what the latest quote offer is.
Thank you, Mayor. So over the past 4 years, the village has made numerous proposals to both of the school districts, and the goal of each of these proposals has been to improve the economic vitality and strengthen the educational and recreational opportunities for the residents of Orland Park. As you can see on this first slide, the proposal timeline, this goes back all the way to 2021, where the village made its first proposal. Then we had a deadline was set for that first proposal on December 3rd, 2022. Next, we had a second proposal in April of 2024, and then a third proposal just this past October.
If I recall, that second proposal in April occurred after they threatened to sue us?
That's correct. There's a little more information in the rest of this presentation. So going to the June 15th, 2021 proposal, as you can see, the village made an offer of many different types of issues. So in this particular offer, the village was going to agree to invest $3.2 million in the South Ball diamonds and ball fields at the John Humphrey complex. District 135 was going to receive land that would accommodate a second driveway access at Park School. Both of the school districts would receive revenue from impact fees per an IGA. Next, the village would give the Cultural Arts Center to District 135 for a unified preschool program. Next, the restructured TIF to take 9750, which is the apartment complex at the Triangle development, and which is at this point is the only property currently in that TIF that is actually generating increased tax revenues. So out of the existing TIF district, so the school districts would get about $4.3 million. Next, the school districts would ask to support the extension of the Main Street Triangle TIF. And lastly, the districts would enter into an IGA with the village for 25 years of ball field usage, which is the same kind of understanding that we've had for several years now, which makes the ball fields available when they're not used by the school district for other recreational purposes. So the district...
So Jim, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if I'm looking at this right, the District 135, because I recall they get a little bit more than District 230, so they were going to get about $5.4 million worth of basically capital improvements and cash, and we were going to get a 25-year IGA for the fields and an extension on the TIF. correct? And they were also going to get engineering and property for behind Park School. Is that basically the summary of that?
Yes, it is.
And District 230 was going to get about $2.1 million of actual cash, again, for those same things. Okay.
Right, so this was made in June of '21, and the school district did not respond over the next year and a half. So rather than accepting the donation, basically, that the village was going to be making for the Cultural Arts Center, District 135 proceeded with a $17 million building expansion instead. According to the district's own numbers, they could have accomplished the same thing at the Cultural Center for only $6 million, but instead chose that $17 million expansion.
Okay. And I know we took the culture, we said, fine, you don't want the cultural center, we'll take it, and we demolished it and we're making it into a bigger park. Okay?
So moving on to the next proposal, this is December 3rd of 2022. Mayor, you sent a letter stating that the economic conditions have changed. It's been a year and a half now, and they're going to move forward with keeping the 9750 apartment inside the TIF district. However, the mayor said that because the other offer had been extended to 2021, the village could give the district until the end of 2021 to accept the previous offer. The village invests again in this ball fields at the John Humphrey complex of about $3.2 million. District 135 would receive that land that would accommodate the driveway access for Park School. Both school districts would receive revenue through the impact fees via a intergovernmental agreement. And restructuring of the TIF at the 9750, the only taxing entity or property within that district that's generating significant revenue out of the TIF district, which would yield the school districts about $4.3 million. So basically, a very significant offer was made. The school districts did request more time to consider this comprehensive proposal. The village did extend that timeline to respond until February of 2023. Ultimately, though, the school districts did turn down that offer in February of 2023.
And just so the public's aware, our board agreed that I would send that letter and in December. And, basically what we said is the economic conditions had changed. The TIF, we knew, of course, we all know it lost $47 million, but not only that, we knew that extending the TIF, which was our previous offer, extending the TIF was probably not going to generate enough TIF dollars to actually make a project viable. So those things all in consideration, we said we have to do something different here. However, we also said, hey, this has been on the table for a long time. So in good faith to our partners, the schools, we would give you to the end of because they still hadn't given us an answer, we'd give you to the end of the year. They said, well, our board won't meet by the end of the year, so we gave them until February, and then they both turned it down. But we told them point blank that this offer is coming off the table. So we were very clear, and it did.
Right. So the next significant event is in February of 2024, and the school districts, both 135 and 230, threatened litigation against the village for about $600,000, and this is related to the Main Street.
I think it was just 135, right? 230 kind of punted on this, or were they part of that letter?
I believe the attorney that represented or presented that letter represented both, I believe.
Okay.
At the time.
At the time, and I think 230 kind of backed off of it, but 135 still kept that out there. Okay?
That's correct.
So just to be clear, we offered 135, $5.4 million, 230, $2.1 million. They turned it down, and they said, we're going to sue you for $600,000. Just to be clear about that negotiating tactic, it's brilliant.
So next,
Yeah, as the clerk said, math. Maybe District 135 and 230, maybe they should go back to remedial math class. That's a good idea.
So moving on to the April 1st, 2024, the village extended another offer here, which the districts would receive revenue through impact fees with an IGA. The village would, again, invest $3.2 million in the ball fields at the John Humphrey complex. The village would continue to offer that free land and the engineering needed to accommodate a new secondary driveway park school. And there's also other considerations related to the school district supporting the TIFs. One of which was existing, but also the new one that is being proposed, and a couple other new ones that are being proposed. So the district itself would not litigate and would not get in the way of the village proceeding with these new opportunities to enhance the economic development within the community.
And so to be clear, they basically both lost over $2 million because they made a poor decision. And we told them that this was a poor decision and that we would take this off the table. We took it off the table. No surprise. We told you we were going to do that. And then now they're, again, threatening to sue. They rejected this proposal as well. And just to be also clear that the supporting the new TIFs, there's really nothing school districts can do to stop those TIFs. If they don't support them and they litigate, they can slow things down, but that's all they really can do. So it's not even asking them for much. It's just basically saying, don't slow this process down and tie everyone up in litigation that you're not going to win. So that was really more of just a courtesy so we wouldn't have to deal with the issues. And we still think that fixing those fields is a good idea. It's still in our budget for our capital planning.
Right, so the school district responded a few weeks later on April 29th, and both of the districts had rejected this most recent proposal from the village.
We're getting to that.
So the most recent proposal from the village was on October 11th of 2024. And in this proposal, the village would pay District 135 $150,000 per year for 5 years. District 230 would receive $150,000 per year for 5 years. The districts would in turn agree to not object to a 12-year extension to the proposed TIF at the former Andrew Corporation property. The districts would also agree to support other potential TIFs, including 143rd and John Humphrey and the one at 159th Street. Also, the village would prohibit any residential development within the new TIF, the downtown Orland Park TIF. The village would, again, continue to invest in the ball fields at John Humphrey at a tune of $3.2 million. District 230 in exchange would allow for continued use of the high school's football fields for the Pioneer program. And the district would receive revenue from the impact fees through an intergovernmental agreement. And the agreement would also nullify the 2007 Main Street Triangle TIF IGA and put to bed any of the potential or threatened litigation against the village. The school district responded in February earlier this year. Both districts wanted the impact fee revenue. District 135 requested the removal of the 9750 apartment from the Main Street Triangle TIF. Again, that's the only true revenue generator for that TIF district. And 230 said that they may be willing to discuss this proposal. We have not heard any other details at this time. So to go to the next slide, it's kind of a summation of the benefits that were, some of which were extended here to the school districts. And as you can see, kind of with each of the 4 proposals there, District 135 is represented in yellow, District 230 is represented in blue. So these are in millions of dollars. So the mayor had indicated some of the totals, reaching $5 million or more. And then you can see even when they were threatening lawsuits, the village was still extending very beneficial proposals to both of the school districts. And one of those benefits would have been represented here in this master plan in terms of improvements that could be made at the sports complex at John Humphrey.
So summarizing here, even our most recent offer offered them more than what they're going to be getting with their counteroffer and or their threatened lawsuit, and they turned it down. So in other words, give us everything, we'll give you nothing, and that's basically their proposal. So It is the most baffling negotiating I've ever seen in my life. Board, does the board have any comments here?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon?
they're using an attorney through these negotiations, correct?
They have.
And so these are coming on attorney letterhead, and they're talking about TIF districts, right?
Correct.
And they have to understand that the 3 or 4 areas that we're talking about are completely unusable, not being developed at all for various reasons, and will not get developed unless we provide them some sort of assistance from the village. True?
Correct. Yeah, these TIF projects can occur.
I mean, the Andrew Corporation property's been sitting there for how long now?
Yeah, the only thing that can't occur, so we do need them to extend to 12 years. If they don't, it won't extend to 12 years. But here's the kicker on that. If they extend the 12 years, the developer can make it work with the timeline to do age-restricted and do like 240 or 50 units. It's in that range, okay? But it's an age-restricted 55 plus, which means you're gonna get very few students. You get paid for them anyways, but very few. So most of the money will go into the TIF for the cleanup and for the 151st grade crossing over the railroad, okay? That's what the TIF money would be used for. If they don't extend it 12 years, the only viable option, and that might not even be viable, is to do about 500 units, and include kids, which means they're gonna flood the schools, and they're gonna flood the same schools. How is the school district ever gonna deal with that? Yeah, sure, they'll get paid for it, but the reason why it has to be that many units is because they get paid for those kids, and to get enough money to generate to clean up the property, then you need many more units. So everything they're choosing is bad for the village, it's bad for them, it makes no sense. Unless you look at it through not what's best for Orland Park, and you look at it from a political lens, then maybe it makes sense.
And just to finish up on the picture on the right, those are the fields that are behind like High Point and OJ.
Yep.
And they're right next to John Humphrey's, which we're willing to clean up, fix up, make them adaptable to additional sports, take care of them, but they get first use all the time still. It's free. I mean, there's no downside. They're not giving up anything that they don't already currently have, except they're getting better maintained property.
The only difference is that these agreements have been typically like 5 years in length. And so they've gone about for the last 40 years, but there was like a 2 or 3 year period where the boards were fighting, and so they didn't do it. And the agreement basically is we maintain them, we cut them, we clean them, we fertilize them, we do all of that to them. We schedule them, but they get first dibs on all scheduling. So anything they need, they get the first dibs, and we schedule it for the rest. It's worked out pretty well. And our thing is that if we're going to spend $3.2 million, I don't want future boards fighting. Let's just agree to the one that we've agreed to forever. We haven't changed anything about it. And also, we're adding a soccer field there, and they're going into interscholastic. They've now gone into interscholastic soccer, so it gives them a soccer field to play on, and gives them. And anyone who's been out there knows the fields currently are almost useless for softball or baseball, unless they're for the youngest kids like t-ball. And these would actually make much more useful fields, just like what's out there now.
Has the 135 board ever, or their attorney ever asked us to come and meet and maybe go sit in on one of their board meetings so that all the board members, not just maybe a couple, understand and are actually behind these letters and this negotiation? So my point is,
I've met with a few of the board members and explain this.
Do they feel they're getting explained it by their own attorneys?
They are not really very forthcoming. So, yeah, it's baffling. Any
Mr.
other-
Mayor?
Yeah, Trustee Healy.
I'd like to know, how much are we out of pocket on this TIF district? We've lost 42 million, or,
47.
47,
but we're actually a cash loss.
Yes.
correct.
How much-
47 plus, we have to move the utilities that they put in the wrong spots, $3 million bucks. And then we also have to do a Metro parking lot, which is another 4.5. Rashid, roughly. So that's 7.5 million more. So really, the loss is more like 54 million.
And how much is the school district out of pocket?
Zero.
Zero. So why are we offering them any money at all? I mean, these people are nuts.
Well, so at the end of the day, Bill, we're looking at the Orland Park as a whole. Those school districts sit inside our village, and this is a win-win, we think, for the village and the schools. That's why we're doing it. It's not because we're viewing it as I want to take this and you get this, and we're trying to find a win-win solution, which I think we have here, and someone keeps.
Well, there's I guess when that first TIF was organized way back when, you go in as a team to try and develop this property for the benefits of the school and everything, and we lose over $50 million, and then now it's like that old line, after the battle is lost, they want to stab the wounded or whatever. So they're just, I don't know. I'd like somebody from their side to explain why we're out so much money for trying to help them out. It just doesn't make any sense.
The agreement, the 2007 agreement that they refer to, basically, first off, we've determined, I think our attorneys have determined it wasn't legal because basically they get paid out first before other taxing bodies, which
isn't allowed.
Which isn't allowable. So I don't know why that was agreed to in 2007, but if there's surplus, they know from the
Is
TIF
that what this is
meetings
about?
that
Do
we've
they
lost
think we're
47
lying?
million.
Do they think we're lying about what's actually in these TIF funds? I mean,
I
we
don't
show
know-
them the.
I don't know what they're thinking, I think they know better. I think I think there's other motives. It's certainly not the best interest of the people of Orland. Any other comments? So I have some comments that, as many of the members of this board do, I have over 25 years of negotiation experience in business and in government. And in general, dealing with government entities is ridiculously cumbersome, to be blunt. It is not unusual for government bureaucrats to keep asking for more and more, and time after time. But this one takes the cake, it really does. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. I grew up here, my roots are here. I went to Doctor, I went to Center, I went to Park, I went to Orland Junior High in Sandburg. My kids went to Center, Meadow Ridge, High Point, Century, and Sandburg. I don't act, and we as a board don't act parochially just for the village of Orland Park. We try to do what's in the best interest of all the residents because this is our home. It was a great place to raise kids. It was a great place to be raised. I want it to stay that way. This is so obviously a win-win, and the school districts are actually getting the financial benefit of all of this. We don't bluff or play games, but it, quite frankly, gets really old watching two boards make decision after decision that are horrible for our residents and our children. They threaten to sue the village because they want a do-over on their poor decision. Now they make a counteroffer where the village gives them money for no reason, again, to offset their stupid decisions from 2022 to 2024. We all sat here and kept scratching our heads. When you look at this, it's like, it still makes no sense to me until 5 months ago, when the political nature of these decisions became abundantly clear. At this point, in my opinion, 4 years is enough. We should simply pull this offer and retrench after the election when there are new boards in place, and hopefully we get some people with some sanity on the other side that we can get this done. So with that, I will entertain a motion to reject their offer and to pull our offer from the table.
So moved.
Any comments on that?
Maybe that'll get their attention.
Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. So there you go, Jim. Do you guys have direction? And again, a lot of the times these discussions are in executive session, but I think the public needs to hear this and needs to see that. We have anyone here to speak? Non-scheduled citizens, visitors for public comment on items relevant to village business, anyone? Okay.
Board comments.
Board comments. Trustee Reardon.
Thank you. One of my favorite board meetings of the year, 4 years now, these awards that we do for the police department, it's an amazing look back. I say the same thing every time, but I think it's worth repeating. All of the items that the mayor listed that we do both policy-wise, purchasing-wise for the police department, it's clearly all to help the police department protect the residents of Orland Park. But almost as important, more important, as important, however you want to put it, it's to protect the department and the folks that work for the department. And you see it when you look out. These are sons and daughters, because you saw a lot of their parents here, you could tell. They are moms and dads, because a lot of their kids, a lot of the people who got the awards, who got the promotions, their kids are here. They're husbands and wives of people. We want to make sure they're going home, and they're going home safe, and they're being protected. So every time I see these awards, it just strikes me with having the officers' parents there, having their children here, their friends and their neighbors, and it really gets you, the hair on the back of your neck stands up, because you know that they're putting themselves out there, night after night, a freezing night like tonight, and trying to do the best they can to protect us, and we got to keep doing what we're doing to make sure we're protecting them. So it's a great night. Congratulations to all the award winners. Thanks.
Trustee Healy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if, today is President's Day, and we all celebrate our favorite presidents on a day like today. And I'd like to take this time to reiterate my idea of, well, maybe we should demand more presidential pictures around this great building of ours. And, we have a couple good pictures, and in our conference room, there's George Washington crossing the Delaware, which is a very inspiring. We could use some leadership like that around. But there's plenty of others like Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln and so on. And maybe as a final, after this just conversation we just had, we might want to just give a picture of President Biden to District 230 for their executive suite. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Bill, we do have some presidents over here too. Thomas Jefferson, I think some others, maybe Adams is there as well. So
I'm getting poor eyesight now, okay? So I can't see that far.
I can't fix that problem. Trustee Radiszewski.
How am I going to follow that?
Okay, Trustee Katsinas. Trustee Radiszewski.
I was going to second what Brian said. I really am, proud to be on this board and, to help, with the other members to make decisions that are really best for the Village of Orland Park and for our police officers. And, congratulations to all of the award recipients this evening, and a big heartfelt thank you to all of them.
Trustee Katsinas.
To continue in that vein, the outstanding officers got awards, but there are a lot of great officers out there that didn't. So I think we should also acknowledge both their efforts as well, in addition to the outstanding actions of those that appeared before us and their families. And also a reminder, it's going to be like -25 tonight, maybe -30. The Orland Park Police Station is also our community warming center, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 150-100 Ravinia. Thank you.
Trustee Malani.
Also, I'd like to congratulate all the officers as well that won awards tonight for their outstanding achievements. But most importantly, our Civilian Officer of the Year, Art Labno, and Officer Mickle for her Officer of the Year award. I think those should go with mention. Congratulations to them, and thank you all for coming. Have a great day.
Trustee Campos.
So I definitely agree with Trustee Reardon that these are always the best evenings, just hearing the stories from our police department, hearing all the work of the women and men in that department, and the outstanding achievements in life savings. I believe Officer Durling is probably number 3 for life saving. I think he's on his way to becoming an EMS at this point. But really just outstanding work, very proud of our department. I was the only member of my household not to have today off for President's Day. I'm not bitter about that at all. And we had meetings again tonight. I had prepared remarks about Washington and Lincoln that would have made Trustee Healy proud, but a proud parent reached out to me about 5 o'clock, and I thought this is a much better story. As much as my comments were excellent, you would have been riveted, I'm sure. I learned that the District 230 women's gymnastics team is going to state on Friday. In fact, they set a school record, but I believe he might mean a district record of 142.475. I assume those are points. I'm not a gymnast or very good about that, but really outstanding work. I'd like to congratulate coaches Hack, Golob, and Hosman. This team is led by seniors Faith Casey, Reagan Shawsey, Amy Cernich, and the rest of the team is Jessica Brzezinski, Maya Evans, Paige Evans, Michaela Hill, Kenzie Whitlow Houston, Kenzie O'Connor, Nora Petirik, Jenna Palicki, Addie Peel, Sammy Sawyer, Kylie Wagner, and Elena Yasin. Wish you the best of luck on Friday. Hopefully you bring home the gold, and congratulations on your achievements thus far. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's an incredible achievement to go to state. And again, kind of my alma mater. I did miss my senior year, but still, I consider that my high school. Also, obviously, a great night with our awards tonight, and it reminds me of what at the Medal of Honor, because you see all these people getting awards, and Trustee Katsinas talked about how, so many others that don't. And I remember at the Medal of Honor, the person who spoke, he had the perfect words. He said these were ordinary people where courage met circumstance. So these are people that all of our officers can do this. It's these people that stepped up at the time when they were called upon. And kudos to them. They didn't go out searching for medals. They just did their jobs. And it's back to my comments that I made about doing your job, showing up every day. And that's how you get ahead in life. That's how you get ahead in the department, and how you have great careers. So good work, everybody. Today is President's Day. And though President Trump is now number 47, there have been only 45 people to hold that office because 2 of them held it twice. Given the divisiveness and attacks going on today, I thought it would be appropriate to have a quote from Teddy Roosevelt, our 26th U.S. president. The man in the arena speech was given in France on April 23rd, 1910. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, and who comes up short again and again because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." So thought about those comments, and then I thought it might be more interesting to finish and share some quotes from the person whom I consider to be the best president of my lifetime, Ronald Reagan. Here are just a few. Government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. How do you tell a communist? Well, it's someone who reads Marx and Lenin. How do you tell an anti-communist? It's someone who understands Marx and Lenin. Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July, but the Democrats believe every day is April 15th. Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. The person who agrees with you 80% of the time is a friend and an ally, not a 20% traitor. I have said this before. I recommend watching the movie Reagan. He was my first vote for president and the second president that I really can remember. I thought the movie captured the essence of what I remember him to be, a great leader that handled adversity and criticism with humor and grace. From my perspective, he believed in America's greatness, but even more importantly, its goodness. Ronald Reagan had an unwavering belief and optimism when it came to the American people, something that I share, and I think we could all use more of. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Call a roll.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Trustee Riordan.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Campus.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. We're adjourned.